Dear students, today's topic is on number theory, Fermat's theorem. I explain the proof of Fermat's theorem and try to solve some problems on Fermat's theorem. See, what does theorem states? It is sometimes called Fermat's little theorem. Suppose A is any positive integer and P is a prime number. P is a prime number. A and P are relatively prime. A is any positive integer. P is a prime number. A and P are relatively prime. When you say that two positive integers are relatively prime, their GCD is 1. A and P are relatively prime. Then A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. 1 mod P. This is called Fermat's theorem. Condition is P is a prime number here, A is any positive integer such that it is relatively prime to P, then A raised to P minus 1 is 1 mod P. Now many different proofs are there for this Fermat's theorem, and I choose the proof which is very simple and easy to understand. In fact, easy to explain also. So I have taken this proof. Proof is, statement is one single sentence. We can state the theorem. What is the statement? Suppose A is any positive integer, P is relatively prime to A, P is a prime number and A is relatively prime to P, then A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. This is the theorem. Proof is, using binomial theorem, x1 plus x2 raised to P is, you know what is binomial theorem? What is binomial theorem? You have studied binomial theorem in this form. Suppose n is a positive integer, binomial theorem can be extended to negative integers or even fractions also, but you have studied binomial theorem for positive integers. N is any positive integer, x plus a raised to n is x raised to n, nc1 x raised to n minus 1 into a, nc2 x raised to n minus 2 into a square, plus so on, plus ncr x raised to n minus r a raised to r, plus etc., plus a raised to n. This is binomial theorem. Here nc1, nc2, etc., they are called binomial coefficients. Binomial coefficients. Binomial theorem means it gives the rule to expand the binomial. Binomials means terms containing two terms. X plus a binomial raised to n. Newton had given the proof of this theorem, binomial theorem. Now I apply this theorem here. x1 plus x2 raised to p is x1 raised to p plus pc1 x1 raised to p minus 1 into x2, pc2 x1 raised to p minus 2 into x2 square, plus so on, plus pcr x1 raised to p minus r x2 raised to r, plus so on, plus x2 raised to p. Am I correct here? That theorem is applied. It is called binomial theorem. Now I write this as x1 raised to p plus x2 raised to p, first and last term, plus, see this remaining term, they are up to this. What is the previous term here? Pc n minus 1, x1 raised to 1, x2 raised to p minus 1. That is the last but one term. That also consists that PCR means PC1. And this PC1, PC2, PCR all are multiples of P. Multiples of P. So I write this as f of P, where f of P contains those terms which are multiples of P. Important step it is, PC1 means P into, or PC1 is P PC2 is P into P minus 1 by 2 factorial. Therefore, all they are multiples of P. Multiples of P. Therefore, x1 plus x2 raised to P minus of x1 raised to P plus x2 raised to P is f of P. I think you followed these steps. F of P. This implies x1 plus x2 whole raised to P is congruent to x1 raised to P plus x2 raised to P mod P. Mod P. You have studied congruent modulo R. Using that, x1 plus x2 whole raised to P is congruent to x1 raised to P plus x2 raised to P mod P. Important result it is. Now we can generalize this. In general, x1 plus x2 plus etc. plus xa raised to P is congruent to x1 raised to P, x2 raised to P plus so on xa raised to P mod P. Generalizing. A is positive integer here. Next step is substitute x1 is equal to x2 is equal to etc. is equal to xa is equal to 1. How many numbers are there? x1, x2, 1, 2, etc. A number are there. We take each is 1 here. x1 is 1, x2 is 1, xa is 1. What do you get? You will get a raised to P is congruent to 1 raised to 1, 1 raised to 1, 1 raised to 1. Because x1 is 1, x2 is 1, xa is 1. So what do you get? A raised to P is congruent to A mod P. Correct? A mod P. Because it is A raised to P, it is 1 plus 2 plus 1 raised to P is 1, 2 raised to P is 1 raised to P, again x2 is also 1, xa is 1, 1 plus 1 A times, what do you get? A. 1 plus 1 2 times is 2, 1 plus 1, 1 3 times is 3, A times 1 means A it is, A mod P. Now this implies, what does this implies? P divides A raised to P minus A. P divides A into A raised to P minus 1 minus 1. Correct? A raised to P minus 1 minus 1. Now this implies P divides A raised to P minus 1 minus 1. Because see, it is of the form A divides BC. A divides BC implies A divides B, or I take P divides AB. All these things we have proved in the number theory. In the starting periods, I have proved this one. If P divides AB, then P divides A or P divides B. But what is given? A and P are relatively prime. Means P doesn't divide A here. Therefore, P must divide A raised to P minus 1 minus 1. What does this imply? A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. Now this is Fermat's theorem. I think proof is clear to all of you. Very important from examination point of view. Usually there are in number theory, in this section there are two theorems. Fermat's theorem, Wilson's theorem. And every year one of the theorem is definitely asked. Either Fermat's theorem is asked or Wilson's theorem is asked for 5 marks. And go through the proof, it is quite straightforward. If A and P are not relatively prime, then what happens? A raised to P is congruent to A mod P. If A and P are not relatively prime, A raised to P is congruent to A mod P. But if A and P are relatively prime, we have this. This is called Fermat's theorem. Now some examples based on this theorem are like this. First one, prove that 5 raised to 10 minus 3 raised to 10 is divisible by 11. We have solved some problems on this type in earlier classes also. There we have used the product of n integers is divisible by n factorial. Correct? We have used this one. But here we use Fermat's theorem. How to apply Fermat's theorem? First see here, 5 and 11 are relatively prime. Since 5 and 11 are relatively prime, by Fermat's theorem, what does theorem states? Say here theorem is there. By Fermat's theorem, 5 raised to 11 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 11. 1 mod 11. P is 11 here. It is a prime number. P is 11, it is a prime number. 5 and 11 are relatively prime. A is 5, P is 11, and condition of that Fermat's theorem is satisfied. So we get 5 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 mod 11. Take this as 1. Similarly, 3 and 11 are relatively prime. 3 and 11 are also relatively prime, and 11 is a prime number. By Fermat's theorem, 3 raised to 11 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 11. 3 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 mod 11. Take this as 2. Simple application of Fermat's theorem. We have obtained 1 and 2 by direct application of Fermat's theorem. Now you know the properties of congruent modulo M. If A is congruent to B mod M, C is congruent to D mod M, then A minus C is congruent to B minus D mod M. A is congruent to B mod M, C is congruent to D mod M, then A minus C is congruent to B minus D mod M. I think you remember the properties of this congruent modulo M. Now from 1 and 2, 5 raised to 10 minus 3 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 minus 1, 0 mod 11. 1 minus 1, 0 mod 11. What does this imply? 11 divides 5 raised to 10 minus 3 raised to 10. This 5 raised to 10 minus 3 raised to 10 is divisible by 11. A simple problem. Prove that. Next example. I consider next examples on this Fermat's theorem. Prove that A raised to 12 minus B raised to 12 is divisible by 30 if A and B are co-prime. Co-prime is same as relatively prime. Co-prime to 13. Problem is exactly similar. Only co-prime means relatively prime. How to apply the theorem? See, it is given both A and B are relatively prime to 13. Means this A and 13 is 1, B and 13 is 1. Important thing is this P is 13 here, it is a prime number. While applying Fermat's theorem, you should always see the conditions of that theorem. whether that condition is satisfied. That is very important. We can apply Fermat's theorem because 13 is a prime number. A and B are relatively prime to 13. Since 13 is a prime number, A and 13 is 1, relatively prime. A raised to 13 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 13. Means A raised to 12 is congruent to 1 mod 13. Similarly, B raised to 12 is congruent to 1 mod 13. 1 mod 13. Now use this result. We have this result. A is congruent to B mod M, C is congruent to D mod M, A minus C is congruent to B minus D mod M. Therefore, A raised to 12 minus B raised to 12 is congruent to 0 mod 13. This implies 13 divides A raised to 12 minus B raised to 12. 0 means, what is the meaning of A is B mod M? M divides A minus B. So 13 divides A raised to 12 minus B raised to 12 minus 0. A raised to 12 minus B raised to 12. Next, prove that n raised to 16 minus 1 is divisible by 17 if n and 17 is 1. N and 17 are relatively prime. It is quite a similar problem. I leave it as exercise. Next, prove that n raised to 11 minus n is divisible by 11 for any integer n. So here, for any integer n raised to 11 minus n is divisible by 11. In Fermat's theorem, there are two conditions. What is the first condition? P is prime number. Second is A and P are relatively prime. Two conditions are there. Then A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. This is Fermat's theorem. Here, about n, P is 11 here. Of course, that condition, first condition is satisfied. P is 11, prime number. That is condition is satisfied. But it is not given. It is not given. N and 11 are relatively prime. Therefore, we have only this result. What is given? 11 is a prime number. Therefore, by Fermat's theorem, since n is any integer, Fermat's theorem, n raised to 11 is congruent to n mod 11. What does Fermat's theorem states? See, in the intermediate step, we have obtained this one. A raised to P is congruent to A mod P. We have obtained this step. Further, using A and P are relatively prime, we have obtained A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. Since it is not given here, n and 11 are relatively prime, it is not given, we use this step. A raised to P is congruent to A mod 11. This implies 11 divides n raised to 11 minus n. For any integer n, 11 divides n raised to 11 minus n. let us consider more problems here. Prove that a raised to 12 minus 1 is divisible by 7 when a and 7 are relatively prime. Prove that a raised to 12 minus 1 is divisible by 7. First condition is 7 is a prime number. You know that one. 7 is a prime number. And a and 7 are relatively prime. What is Fermat's theorem? By Fermat's theorem, a raised to 7 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 7. This is Fermat's theorem. Both the conditions are satisfied. 7 is a prime number, a and 7 are relatively prime. Therefore, a raised to 6 is congruent to 1 mod 7. But what do you require? A raised to 12 minus 1 is divisible by 7. How do you get that one? Properties of congruences. You know that in congruence modulo m we can raise to the power both sides, any positive integer. So I take a raised to 6 square is congruent to 1 mod 7. 1 square mod 7. A raised to 12 is congruent to 1 mod 7. Right? 1 mod 7. This implies 7 divides a raised to 12 minus 1. Only this is extra step. I think the problem solving method is clear to you. Direct applications of Fermat's theorem. You may get some more problems where only Fermat's theorem is not required sufficient. We have to use some other things here. Properties of congruences. I solve that problems in next class. Okay, thank you.